Breaking news that's coming in right now. It's a big blow to Uddhav's legacy claim. The Election Commission of India has frozen the Sena's bow and arrow symbol in an interim order. The Election Commission has in fact said that neither camp of the Shiv Sena can simply use the party name Shiv Sena. Both factions asked to choose new symbols, new party names. This big decision coming ahead of the Andheri East bypolls in the state of Maharashtra on November 3rd. So a big blow there, in fact, for Uddhav Thackeray. Rajdeep Sardesai, consulting editor, is joining us live at the moment. Rajdeep, how do you see this decision of the election commissions? They of course say that this is an interim order. This is because more time is needed for both sides to submit their affidavits, their supplementary documents, etc. in order to stake claim to that bow and arrow symbol. But then of course they've announced the November 3rd Andheri East bypolls. So in the interim, neither can use the name Shiv Sena, neither can use the symbol of bow and arrow.
You know, this was expected, Paulomi, given the fact that the matter is still to be fully heard before the Election Commission amidst the conflicting claims by both the Shinde Sena and the Uddhav Sena. It was inevitable that at least for the by-elections of Andheri East on the 3rd of November, the EC would freeze the symbol. You might recall last year when there was a battle in the Lok Janshakti party between Chirag Paswan and his uncle, then too the EC's at the very first instance, froze the symbol. I think by the time the BMC elections, which are far more crucial, come in January, February, the EC will have to decide who has the political majority and therefore who gets the bow and arrow symbol. So I think this was expected, but to the extent that ahead of the elections, the Shinde Sena will claim some kind of a moral victory, that's possible. But I think the Uddhav Sena knew that they were unlikely to get their symbol for the November 3rd election, and they're already campaigning for the widow of Ramesh Latke, who died, as a result of which this Andheri East by-election is being held.
Right. Rajdeep, stay on with us. Former CEC, Mr. S.Y. Qureshi, is also joining us at the moment. Mr. Qureshi, thank you so much for joining us at this late hour. But this massive decision coming in from the Election Commission, where they've of course frozen the symbol, given the factionalism within the Shiv Sena, saying that we've announced a bypoll. It is right around the corner. At this point of time, obviously nobody can have any sort of psychological advantage, even though it is likely that one faction is not even fielding a candidate in this bypoll, but nobody can have a psychological advantage. So nobody gets to stake claim over the name, nobody gets to stake claim over the bow and arrow symbol. So how do you see this decision?
You know, was totally predictable. In fact, I wrote an article in Indian Express about a week ago, exactly drawing this scenario. Because till the decision is taken on the dispute, which will take 3-4 months because it is a highly contested thing, this is a standard arrangement. The party name has to be frozen, the party symbol has to be frozen, and an interim name will be given to both the factions, and an interim symbol is given to both the factions. This is the only course available to Election Commission, and they have exercised it.
Okay, absolutely. But of course, you know, one of the arguments which was put forth by the Uddhav Thackeray faction, which did, of course, after several deadlines, file some sort of a response today before the Election Commission. They said when one side is not even fielding a candidate, this is just pressure tactic which is being built on the Election Commission at the moment to come out with a decision without having gone through the due process with some sort of an order, because they are just trying to somehow put pressure on the Election Commission. They're not even fielding a candidate.
No, in the dispute has already arisen. This dispute has gone to the Election Commission. Once this split in a party gets disputed, the symbol has to be frozen till the decision is taken. And normally, if suppose there was no election, then we would have all waited for the decision of the Election Commission, which will come in 2-3 months. Now, if the elections are around the corner, which is the case here, and if the decision is not taken till January, this same arrangement will continue. An interim name to the two parties, to the two factions, an interim symbol. That is the only arrangement which is possible, and the Election Commission has exercised that option.
Okay. Mr. Qureshi, do stay on with us. Rajdeep Sardesai continues to be live with us. Rajdeep, do you see this as some sort of a setback for the Uddhav Thackeray faction? You did say that, of course, the Shinde faction might claim this as some sort of a moral victory. They're not fielding a candidate in the Andheri East bypolls. It's going to be likely to be a face-off between the Shiv Sena, the Uddhav faction, versus the BJP and their candidate, who in fact was the first runner-up in the 2019 assembly elections at that point of time. Do you think it is going to somehow impact the Uddhav Thackeray faction as they go into this election?
I really don't think so. I think this election is being fought on the ground between the Shiv Sena and the BJP. I think the real impact will come in the BMC election, because there the stakes are much higher. At the moment, the Shiv Sena, as I said, almost knew that this decision would come. Dr. Qureshi was pointing out this is the precedent, that while the matter is being heard in the election commission, the symbol will be frozen. Of course, the Shiv Sainik will feel that, without the bow and arrow symbol, that sense of, the Sena's pride, which was the bow and arrow symbol, where does that go? But, very interesting, Paulomi, and for our viewers, when Bal Thackeray formed the Shiv Sena, the original symbol was a railway engine, and it later on changed to a bow and arrow. In fact, Raj Thackeray, when he formed his MNS, took that railway engine symbol. So look, a symbol in an election in a metropolis like Mumbai, in Andheri East, I don't think makes that much of a difference. But when you go to a civic election across Maharashtra, as will take place possibly in January, February, then whoever gets the symbol will have a huge advantage. So at the moment, remember, it's not as if the Shinde Sena has got the symbol. The day the Shinde Sena were to get, if they were to get the symbol, and if that were to happen before the corporation elections in January, February, I think that would be a huge blow to Uddhav Thackeray, huge advantage to the Shinde Sena, or vice versa.
What about the name?
I think it's a very localized single by-election, which will... Yeah, yes, you can't use the same name, Shiv Sena, Paulomi, but look, everybody knows Ramesh Latke in the constituency. His widow is fighting. Uddhav Thackeray will campaign there. Aditya Thackeray and the other Sainiks will campaign there. The BJP is likely to put up their own candidate, a corporator, Mr. Patel. So, look, I think this is a very localized election where I don't think the symbol matters as much. Okay. I think the symbol factor, Paulomi, will really come into play in January, February, when those major civic elections are held across Maharashtra. Because then assume, because that symbol battle will really be used by whoever wins it to tell the people of Maharashtra, we are the real Shiv Sena. I think that really is the decisive factor. At the moment, you could call it a temporary setback, if at all, to the Uddhav faction. But my sense is Andheri East will be fought more on whether Uddhav carries the sympathy after losing his government, or is the BJP able to really dominate the constituency. So I think we need to distinguish between what's happening now and what could happen 2 or 3 months from now.
Okay. Rajdeep, stay on with us. Aishwarya Paliwal is also joining us live right now. Aishwarya, of course, covers the Election Commission for us. Aishwarya, you've gone through that order copy. What are the main reasons cited by the Election Commission to, in fact, defer this decision for the time being?
Well, probably it will take a lot of time, because this is not a decision that the Election Commission can take in just a couple of hours, because all the documents, especially by the Uddhav side, were submitted today. So they need more time. But obviously they understand that 3rd of November is when the by-election in Andheri is. So they decided that this was the best, and like Rajdeep was pointing out, during 2021 LJP elections also, we saw how the symbol was chosen and both the factions were asked to choose. Now this is what the commission has done, because it will take them longer, and we did see how Uddhav Thackeray's faction had clearly said that they have more than 10 lakh supporters. Now the primary people who are with the party, all of them, according to the Uddhav Thackeray faction, is standing with Uddhav Thackeray. So all these things need to be taken into account, because of which the logical step for the Election Commission to take was to freeze the symbol, and the by-election will happen on some other symbol, and the Election Commission will then give a final order on what will happen with the bow and arrow symbol.
Okay. Aishwarya, stay on with us. Mustafa Sheikh is now joining us live from Mumbai as well. Mustafa, any sort of reactions that are coming in from either side on this decision which has been taken by the Election Commission?
For me, as of now, there are no official reactions which have come in, but from the Uddhav camp, there are concerns, because remember, in the Supreme Court also somewhere the Uddhav camp was arguing that the stay on the proceedings on the Election Commission should not be lifted by Supreme Court, but it was lifted, and things started moving fast after Eknath Shinde had returned to Election Commission of India, and yesterday Election Commission of India had given just a day's time to Uddhav camp to reply, which was this afternoon 2 p.m. They had given the details, and then we see by the late evening there's a 12-page order by the Election Commission which has come out, which the symbol has been frozen. So there are some concerns from the Uddhav camp regarding the Election Commission proceedings. So as of now, official word from both the sides is awaited. Back to you.
Okay, Mr. Qureshi, I'll come across to you right now. You of course said that there are past precedents as well as far as such decisions are concerned. What are the sort of factors that are taken into account before it's decided, so to say, who gets the party name, who keeps the original name, who keeps the original symbol? Because on the one side, in this instance, what I can say is that the Eknath Shinde faction says we have maximum MLAs, we have maximum MPs. Uddhav Thackeray in his response says, well, we as a party have 12 lakh primary members, 10 lakh are with me right now, a little over 1.5 lakh are with Eknath Shinde. So he's claiming in terms of the grassroots people, the bulk of them are with me.
Yes, the entire case is conducted under the election symbols order of 1968, Rule 15, which clearly lays down the procedure. And the procedure says that the Election Commission will see the majority, who holds the majority. And majority in two places. One, in the legislature, MPs, MLAs and MLCs, and in the organization. And in both places, since the possibility of one faction holding the majority in the organization is very, very strong, this case will be hotly contested, and Election Commission will see the evidence presented by both the parties, the affidavits and the signatures of all the people. Sometimes what happens is some MLAs are shown by both the sides, so obviously some signatures are bogus. So Election Commission has to decide which are the genuine signatures. So that is why it takes 3 to 4 months, 5 to 6 months also in this case, which is why I had written and I've been talking to many channels in Maharashtra, exactly predicting that this is what will happen. So no surprise at all. I don't think any faction should be shocked or upset because this was the only predictable action. And there was no other course available to the Election Commission. They have to freeze the name of the party and the symbol till they take a decision.
Okay. Rajdeep, I'll come across to you right now. You of course said that this is not going to have a major sort of an impact on the upcoming November 3rd bypolls in Andheri East, but clearly a big impact, so to say, if at all a decision is taken ahead of the BMC polls in January or February next year. How is it going to, play into the hands of one or the other faction if the decision goes in their favor ahead of the BMC elections in terms of an advantage?
Paulomi, at the moment in Maharashtra, this Sena versus Sena fight is being fought at 3 levels. Number 1 is the battle for Balasaheb Thackeray's legacy. You might have seen a sample of that during the Dussehra rallies. The manner in which both sides, including Shinde Sena, tried to claim that they were the true legatees of Balasaheb Thackeray's legacy. In fact, got some family members, it's a divided Thackeray family, got the likes of Jaidev Thackeray, Smita Thackeray, Nihal Thackeray to join, to be at the stage with Eknath Shinde. And then you have the Uddhav Thackeray faction, which claimed that they are the real Sena. So that's one battle. Number 2 is the battle for votes. That battle for votes, I think, will be fought area by area, region by region, constituency by constituency. And the third battle is the symbol battle, which is linked to the votes battle, because when you have the symbol, then you can authentically go to the voters and claim that we are now being treated as the real Shiv Sena. And it's important because the bow and arrow traditionally over the last 3 decades has been associated in Maharashtra as the Shiv Sena symbol. Right. So assume tomorrow one of the sides was to get, whichever side gets this symbol will go to the people of Maharashtra and say, we are the real Shiv Sena. The Election Commission has validated our claim. And that will give them a considerable advantage on the ground, in my view. So I think, the emotional connect that many Sainiks have with both Bal Thackeray, the symbol, will give whoever gets the symbol a huge advantage. At the moment, freezing the symbol, not giving the name in a local election, I don't think, Paulomi, it makes a difference. The sense I get, the Andheri East election is being fought on a very limited factor. The Uddhav Thackeray camp looking for sympathy, getting the support of the Congress NCP, The BJP mainly on its own, Eknath Shinde's camp doesn't have much of an influence in Andheri East. They are banking on the fact that the Hindutva appeal, the Modi Shah appeal will pull them through. So I think this is a very limited election. I would not read too much into whatever happens in Andheri East, when in the larger picture we look at BMC and beyond to the other municipal corporations of Maharashtra.
Absolutely. BMC, of course, a high-stakes election over there. Mustafa, I'll come across to you right now. Rajdeep, of course, mentioned the Dussehra rallies as well, the two rallies at Shivaji Park and at BKC MMRDA grounds as well. He, of course, mentioned the presence of Jaidev Thackeray as well as Smita Thackeray and Nihar Thackeray on stage with Eknath Shinde. How did that go down?
Well, as Rajdeep was saying that the war is also on the front of claiming Balasaheb Thackeray's legacy, and hence when Uddhav Thackeray says that he is my father, you are stealing my father, and at the same time when you get Uddhav Thackeray's brother, sister-in-law and a nephew on the stage with you, so it's somewhere on the lines of the narrative playing that the Thackeray family is also with us, the blessing of Balasaheb Thackeray is with us, we are the real Shiv Sena. So in that legacy war, it really the Eknath Shinde camp really wanted to enforce that there are members of Thackeray family. So the divide is not only politically in the Shiv Sena as a party, but also the Thackeray as a family. That he wanted to prove, and the main important highlight of it was that Jaidev Thackeray was made to sit just next to Chief Minister Eknath Shinde on the stage on the VIP row. So that really goes on to prove that point of narrative and legacy. Back to you.
But of course, Rajdeep, the opposition in Maharashtra used that sentence from Jaidev Thackeray quite critically when Jaidev Thackeray said we should be setting up Shinde Rajya in Maharashtra. They used that and said, well, BJP, beware.
Look, the fact is Jaidev Thackeray was the estranged son of Balasaheb Thackeray. Even when Balasaheb was alive, they had a very tumultuous relationship. No love lost between the Thackerays, and therefore he was used by Eknath Shinde. The fact is the BJP runs the show, Paulomi, in Maharashtra. Let's be clear, in this battle, Sena versus Sena, the real laddu at the moment is in the hands of the BJP. Because the more they fight, the more the BJP will hope a splintered Shiv Sena vote is advantage BJP. The BJP wants to become at least party number one this time in the BMC. They just missed out on that 5 years ago. That's their aim. So, putting up Jaidev Thackeray, all of this can be done by Eknath Shinde to try and sort of suggest that the Thackeray family legacy is not some private limited company which only Uddhav Thackeray and his sons have, but that there are others also who are claimants. I'm not sure that worked. I do believe that the emotional appeal that I saw at the Dussehra rally of Uddhav Thackeray was much greater than what was there.
We'll find out about that, whether that actually works for Uddhav Thackeray on November 3rd. I apologize for interrupting you over there, Rajdeep. Kirit Somaya of the BJP from Maharashtra is over the phone line with us. Thank you, sir, for holding on to that line. The question, I'll take off from what Rajdeep, in fact, okay, we've lost that line. We'll try and reconnect with him. But of course, Rajdeep, they're saying that BJP has the laddu over here. Depending on whoever sort of is fighting, at the end of the day, it's BJP that has the laddu in its hands in Maharashtra. Mr. Qureshi, I'll come across to you right now. Do you think it is imperative on the Election Commission to, of course, give some sort of a proper, permanent sort of a decision, a final decision on this symbol war, on this party name war, before the BMC elections in February, likely in Maharashtra, in Mumbai?
No. The Election Commission cannot be forced to hasten up its decision. It will have to weigh the evidence in front of it. Both parties are contesting it hotly. They will have the documents and papers which Election Commission will examine. Election Commission will take its own time. I personally feel that it may not be in a position to give a judgment before a BMC election, and therefore the interim arrangement which has been decided now perhaps will continue, but it is possible that they are able to come to a conclusion and give a decision before that, in which case one faction will become the party, not the majority party. That will be the party and will have that symbol. That is the established thing. And also, follow me if I can mention about the importance of symbol.
Right.
The symbol is not all that important. It is important for people to recognize, but not all that. As far back as 1969, when Congress was split, and later on in 78, both by Indira Gandhi, had the original symbol was frozen. She contested on a new symbol and won. And therefore, and now in the age of media and social media, this thing will be known very easily. People will go by the name of the Shinde and Thackeray rather than the symbol. So, and as Rajdeep was saying repeatedly, that in Bombay particularly, in Mumbai particularly, it's a small election, small concentrated place. It will not make much of a difference.
Okay. So also, Rajdeep, do feel free to jump in at any time if you have any sort of question. But Mr. Qureshi, in terms of past precedents,
you see,
yes, Rajdeep, go ahead.
My one concern, Mr. Qureshi, is simply, Dr. Qureshi, is simply this, that, you know, it appears that the legislative wing is with the Shinde Sena. They've got 40 out of the 50 odd MLAs that the Shiv Sena had. In terms of those who are seen as office bearers at various units, Uddhav Thackeray seems to have the edge. Then there are all those who are official members where there are conflicting claims. I just want to understand from you, can we expect an objective decision from the Election Commission? The reason I ask you this is because the charge is being made that the EC has increasingly become the handmaiden of the government in power. Can we expect an objective, neutral decision? And if a decision is taken, can it be challenged in the Supreme Court?
Yes, Rajdeep, actually I would think it is an unfair allegation, because the Election Commission, while taking such a decision, quasi-judicial, is always conscious that all these cases end up in Supreme Court in appeal. And the Election Commission would not like to make a fool of itself before the Supreme Court. We try to give every judgment in such a way that it is upheld by the last court. So I don't think Election Commission can take that risk of being lambasted by the Supreme Court if they give a decision not based on facts.
Okay. Okay. So in terms of...
You can go to the Supreme Court. You're saying that the Supreme Court will decide?
Yeah, no. So Supreme Court will sit in appeal anyway. As it is, this case is before the Supreme Court in a different context. Right. When Uddhav Thackeray campaigned there, that the other issues about the defection, that is yet to be decided, and Supreme Court isolated it and transferred it to Election Commission to give its judgment, because this is where only Election Commission can decide. After that, in any case, the case is before the Supreme Court.
Okay. Okay. So that is, of course, Mr. Qureshi, of course, giving us a sense of how things could proceed forward from here on, because the Election Commission has just given an interim order for the moment, of course, keeping in mind that there are elections bypolls that are to happen in Andheri East in Mumbai on November 3rd. They're just around the corner, and you know, the nomination process, the filing of nominations has already begun on October 7th, which is yesterday. So they need to speed up things as far as this dispute is concerned. In terms of the past precedents, Mr. Qureshi, can you cite past precedents where similar, of course, you know, decisions have been taken by the Election Commission, and this is not anything out of the ordinary, as you said, which has been done by the Election Commission, quite predictable, as you said.
Yeah, you know, there have been the party split many times, starting with the Congress. The very first, after the Symbols Order of 1968, was in 1969, when Congress is split. And then again, and after that, you know, DMK and ADMK, the Lok Janshakti Party, the Uttarakhand Vikas Party, Samajwadi Party, this has been happening all the time. And similar decision, exactly, it is almost a predictable course of action which Election Commission takes.
Right. Rajdeep, you of course were saying that, you know, this is the, you know, whichever way this dispute goes, the fact that there is a dispute is advantage BJP. How so?
Well, I think, you see, the more the public out there believes that the Shiv Sena is fighting each other, or the two Senas are fighting each other, the BJP stands to gain. Remember, even in the last elections in Maharashtra 2019, the BJP emerged as the single largest party by some distance. And the only reason the BJP believes it couldn't get a majority is because they feel they gave too many seats to the Shiv Sena, and that affected the BJP's popularity. Now, of course, that was on the back of the BJP's resounding win in the Lok Sabha. So they carried that momentum into the Vidhan Sabha. Now we are 3 years down the line. The issues have changed. Uddhav Thackeray will go to the people and say he was betrayed. The BJP will claim that Uddhav Thackeray has betrayed Hindutva. So the issues will be very different. The only reason I'm saying the BJP benefits is because the BJP believes that as regional parties weaken, if the Shiv Sena weakens as a result of this fight between the Shinde and the Uddhav Sena, the BJP will occupy that space. On the other hand, the Shiv Sena, and we could sense that in the Dussehra rally of Uddhav Thackeray, recognizes they're going to have to widen their appeal and thereby reach out to the non-traditional Sena voters, especially those who may be affiliated to even the Congress and NCP. And the Congress, which has won Andheri East in the past, backing the Sena in this election, along with the NCP, will give the Shiv Sena some hope that if this alliance sustains over the next till 2024, then they have more than half a chance of taking on the BJP and the Shinde Sena. I think, you know, that's, therefore the symbol is one act of this critical play that's taking place in Maharashtra. If this battle between the two Senas weakens both the parties, advantage BJP. If Uddhav Thackeray is able to consolidate, then advantage to the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi.
Now, you know, you've spoken to the people on the ground, Rajdeep, as well. What is the public perception? Are they seeing this as a battle of dynastic stranglehold versus legacy? How are they seeing this battle between the two factions and the narratives that each of them are spinning?
It's a very interesting question, Paulomi. It just depends on who you speak. If you're speak to, if you're in Shivaji Park and Dadar, the traditional Maharashtrian middle class areas of Mumbai, and you speak to people there, many of them are with Uddhav Thackeray. That's the sense I got speaking to them. They believe that Uddhav Thackeray deserved a longer tenure in office. He was betrayed by his own. But if you speak to younger generation traditional Shiv Sena voters, they seem more divided. They don't seem to have the same sort of emotional connect with Balasaheb Thackeray. Most of them were born post 1990. I think that generation is critical. Who will they go with? Also, if you go to Thane, which is near Mumbai, the stronghold of Eknath Shinde, Mr. Shinde has a lot of support. Remember, critical area would be Konkan and rural Maharashtra. Where will they go? Because the Sena's hold in rural Maharashtra has never been that strong, even when Balasaheb was alive. So who will they go with will also become critical. But I think it's the younger voter that will decide. The voter under 30, Shiv Sainik, but also Hindutvavadi. What does he choose? Does he go with the Shiv Sena as represented by Uddhav Thackeray, or does he go by this Hindutvavadi alliance as represented by Eknath Shinde? I think that voter will be the critical factor in the civic elections and going ahead into state elections in the future in Maharashtra.
Right. Rajdeep Sardesai, Mr. S.Y. Qureshi, thank you so much for joining us this evening on India Today. Of course, that big decision coming in. It's an interim order from the Election Commission. In fact, that there is a freeze on the Shiv Sena symbol. There's a freeze on the Shiv Sena name as well. Both sides have time till October 10, 1 p.m. to submit their choice of name, their choice of symbol in order to go ahead and contest the Andheri East bypolls on November 3rd in Mumbai. Thank you so much for joining us. That's a wrap on this bulletin. For all the latest news and updates, you can log on to indiatoday.in. You can also download the India Today app. Thanks for watching.